Hold on, let me put my camera on. All right. I'm going to give women another minute or two to hop on. Welcome, welcome. I see Kathy and Laura and Jenny, Teresa, Michelle. I saw you at one point, but now, there you are. Jessica, is it Audrey? Welcome, ladies. So happy to have you here. You might have been expecting Megan, but Megan had laryngitis. So you get me today. I'm Shayna. And just waiting another minute. So a couple more women are hopping on, it looks like. Oh, Audrey, we met at Women Rocking Business. So good to see you. Yay. All right, Kate. Hi, Teresa. I'm going to mute you all for just a moment as I'm just setting us up. All right. Okay. Welcome to your bonus Q&A call. And congratulations for joining Women Rocking Business and committing to yourself, committing to grow your business. I feel really proud of each of you, and I know it's a big step. You know, whatever you had to do to say yes to this program, to say yes to your business, I just, again, want to keep reiterating, like, please celebrate that. Celebrate yourself and continue to remind yourself of how brave and courageous it is to be doing this, and you're in the right place. So I'm so happy to be here today. I'm Shayna James. I'm one of the leverage coaches. This is normally a call that Megan is going to lead. And for those of you who are expecting Megan to be here, she woke up this morning with laryngitis. And so I'm filling in for her today. So we're both leverage coaches. And I think what I want to start with actually is having you each close your eyes for a moment before I give you a little more context. Let's just land here. Take a moment to close your eyes and just call upon that deeper place in you that's beyond the nervousness, beyond the fear, beyond the chaos and the stress of everything that can be going on in your lives. Go into that deeper place, into your heart, into your belly, and that place where there's a why are you doing this? Why is this so important to you? Right? Why are you taking the risk to be visible and put yourself out in the world and continue to face the risk of rejection and people having their opinions about what you're doing? Right? If you're just hopping on, we're just taking a moment to really go into that deeper place and just get connected to your why and to what matters to you here. And let's hold on to that. You can take a couple more breaths and then you can come back into our virtual room. And we might share those throughout. But for now, just stay connected to that and know that that part of you, right? Anytime you get stressed out, you get thrown off, you get overwhelmed, go back to that part, because that's your guide. And that's the place where you have kind of a consistency and a strength, right? That's going to carry you through. All right, so this is your bonus Q&A call, and these are going to happen once a month. And it's not going to be a very highly facilitated call. It's basically just, I'm here to answer your questions. You may be in ELA, you may be in Leverage, you may be in Lotus. So this call is for everyone. And the beauty of that is that we can all learn from each other, right? So if you're just starting out, you have questions that are going back to the basics, and women who've been building their businesses for a long time, they're going to learn from you too. And if you're hearing questions that are beyond where you are, right, you get to just hold that in your vision and really expand what you see is possible for your own business. And one thing I just want to remind you all of, and you might not know this, right? If you're in ELA, you might not know the theme for Leverage, or if you're in Leverage, you might not know the theme for ELA. So I just want to remind you of the themes for the month. In ELA, right now it's all about honing your message, getting clear about your niche, orienting to finding places to give talks and how to get new clients. And in Leverage, we're working with, creating a plan to put into place to get clients and to start building your groups and to start getting online and expanding. So again, those are the themes for this month, and any question you have is totally fair game. And you might have mindset questions and questions, around your emotional experience of building a business, and you might have strategy questions, and those are all, all fair game, all welcome. So one thing I just want to make a note of, and then we'll dive in, is, that this is a safe space, and take on the mindset of welcoming, each question and each woman with everything she's going through, and take on looking at it from a lens of how can this support me and my business, right? So even if it's not immediately applicable or you're not going through the same exact thing, there are breakthroughs and mindset shifts and strategies that can ping, and you can realize, oh, I could take on some of that, or I could do some of that. Okay. Awesome. I see some familiar faces and some new faces. So welcome those of you who hopped on late and you were expecting Megan to be here. She has laryngitis. And I'm Shayna James, one of the Leverage coaches for those of you I haven't met. So I'm here to answer questions. All right. I see hands up already. Let's start with Nina. I saw your hand up first. And I'll let you unmute yourselves unless you can't for some reason.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah. I can hear you. Great. Welcome.
Hi, thank you. This is my first call. I'm in ELA, so yeah, thanks for this time this morning. I really would like some coaching around my niche clarity because, yeah, I'm just not feeling super decided.
Super clear, yeah. Super clarified. Yeah. Okay, so tell me what you know so far.
Okay, so I work with sexuality with women. What I know so far is that I feel like my sort of superpower is taking women who find it really hard to access their sexual arousal and their orgasm, and I have these special techniques and practices that I teach them that make, like totally transform that, so that they have really quite, I guess it's like the divine experiences of sex. Like taking
who doesn't want that?
Yeah.
We all want that, don't we? Beautiful. I can tell you feel like a good conduit for that.
Yeah, and I just love doing so. It's very much rooted in kind of like focused awareness. Like it's sort of like it's teaching tools, ways to reassign your mind for people that are like overthinkers, busy.
Now, people. So one question to think about, right? I love this framing for all of you is, what are these women laying awake at night, struggling with and crying about and feeling, devastated by, right? If we want to go that far.
I think it's like like just this like soul kind of loss feeling of like, I'm just not getting sexually satisfied, like really feeling unmet. And, but I think I could even have a bit of feedback, like what do people, I've done so many interviews with people and I know like what they want.
Yeah. So what are they saying they want? Because one great thing you can do is do a poll on your ELA page, right?
Yeah.
But for now, what are you already hearing that they want?
That they'd like to feel like empowered in their sexuality and actually just be able to access their pleasure and feel content, and just having that sexual satisfaction and not have it dependent on somebody else. So sexual sovereignty is a word that was given to me by a recent interview. I was like, yeah, that's a good word.
Yeah. And then on the other side, what's the pain that they're telling you? What's the struggle?
The pain is like a lack of fulfillment, like, that like this part of self is just not being, it's just not being fulfilled, like in this lifetime, like this constant like part of self that's not been missing. Does that make sense as far as pain?
It does, but it's vague, right? So part of what I'll challenge you to do, to start putting it in language that they say, like, sometimes women will say, I'm not really fulfilled, but more it's like, oh my God, I feel like I wake up in the morning and I'm like, oh, I have to do everything again, right? I've got to take care of my kids. I've got to make the lunches. I've got to go to work. I've got, like, whatever it is that they have to do and do and do, that they're exhausted by it, and life becomes overwhelming and exhausting and, you know, just like redundant, right? And there's no juice in it. That might be one way that certain women talk about it. Other women might talk about, like, I'm with my partner and yet I feel
just can't be bothered. They're like, I just can't be bothered. Like, shall we bother?
And what's the pain in that? Because that's the surface, right?
Okay.
Deeper with that one.
Yeah. And I suppose part of this is like, am I working with people that are in relationship, or are they single, or does it matter?
Question, right? It's like, and you can work with both, but I would suggest focusing on one to start, because then you can really speak to them, right? If you're speaking to someone who's laying next to their partner and looking into their eyes and being like, I guess let's just go to bed again, is really different than a woman who's laying in her bed with her computer, realizing like, oh, there's nobody here, right? They're different pains.
Yeah. And
so have you looked at the Niche Clarity workbook?
Yeah, I have.
Okay, that's good.
I've got a big list of things, but I don't know if my language is a bit
It's just more, you're doing great, you're on the right path, and I would say get more specific. And so if you want to ask more people about the pain and what they would say, you can do that. And I would suggest putting out a poll on your ELA Facebook page to say, like, you know, when you haven't felt sexually satisfied or sexually awake, like what's the deepest pain in that for you?
Okay, so could that be my niche then? Like people that don't, like what I said at the beginning of, like people that can't access their sexual arousal very easily and find orgasms, like efforting for orgasms. Is that a niche?
Efforting for orgasms. Yeah, I mean, it's like women who can't access their orgasm, or women who aren't orgasmic.
Not women who aren't orgasmic. No, like women who have had orgasms before, but it's like now they're sexually, like, it takes a lot of like focus, and they have to really like effort, and it might not always happen.
Yep, and that's great. I mean, I can see all of that on your webpage, all of that content, and it could be that you don't necessarily have to specifically focus on mothers or, you know, women in long-term relationships, but you could list those things too, right? Like, you know, this often happens after a woman gives birth, or this often happens after 7 years of being in a relationship, or, you know, so that you can speak to, they can say,
yeah, that's true. And it does, like, once the initial spark or something. Okay, so that makes it clearer that maybe I'm working with people in relationship. I guess I've been torn a bit because I really enjoy also working with single women who are like wanting to call in their soulmate relationship. And what the work that I do is, like, once they become sexually empowered and able to access their own pleasure, then it seems that they always seem to then meet that partner.
Yes. Now the thing with that is the pain, it's okay. The pain is obvious around their orgasm when they're in a relationship. If they're single, the pain is more, I want love and I don't have it. You know what I mean?
True. Yeah. So that's the niches then. I want relationship, and my tool.
Exactly. You got
it. So I'm either coaching people to have a relationship. Or, okay, so this is clearer. So if I don't want to be coaching people to have a relationship, because I'm not like all about relationship coaching, or could I be, or even just working with
right. And for now, I would say choose the one. It sounds like the one that you're really alive with is the orgasm, and helping women reignite, right, their spark, their sexual.
Okay.
Beautiful. So let's give you an assignment for now, which is one, to get more language around the pain, and specifically for now, again, with women who are in a relationship and found that, you know, their spark has faded, their energy's faded, they're not sure where it is. And, you know, one of the great things about that is that people's partners will support them to spend money. There's a lot of things that people's partners won't support them to spend money on, but if their sexuality has faded, their partners will be like, sure, honey, go do that. spend that money.
Yeah. And then I suppose all the people that I work with that are single, they will still come because the language will still relate to them. They would know that when they were in relationship.
That's what happened.
Because that's a lot of the reason why women want to leave the relationship is because they're like,
yeah, good. So for all of you, right, just take note of this, that the more specific we get and the more, have you ever read a web page where...
So that would be the pain, wouldn't it? I want to leave the relationship.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and so when you read a web page where you see someone describing you, right, what you're going through, your pain and struggle, you become trusted, right? You become trustworthy because they can sense, wow, if she really knows me, then I can actually open up here. It's not like I'm opening up to a stranger. It's like you're already known. So thank you, Nina. That was a beautiful question. And yeah, I suggest doing a poll on your ELA page and getting some more people to give you the pain language and whatever your own story is around that as well. Okay, so I just need to, so my niche, my kind of bit is clear. I decide that in relationship, and then so the pain part is for like working out my signature talk title. And for your web page and your advertising and all of that, right? You're going to use the pain and all of that. And you'll be guided through this too, on your ELA calls, and you can keep asking questions as you go. But the pain, again, for all of us, right? The pain works its way through. We talk about the results that people want, and we also talk about the pain they're struggling with. So as far as like choosing the talk, like I just want to book in some dates basically to call in more clients. Great. Do you have any suggestions around that as far as... I'm just thinking, since we have a bunch of people with their hands raised, let's keep going, but then we'll come back around. All right. And as far as you're looking for like titles and things like that. Yeah. For the talks. I would sit with and start to brainstorm, 5 or so titles that speak to what women are longing for, and 5 that are speaking to what's the pain. Right? And as we do this, again, for each of you, as we do this and as we clarify and just brainstorm, we start to get even clearer and clearer about what women are wanting and what we're supporting them with. Okay. Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, feel free to raise your hand again as we go around. Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Nina. Let's give Nina a kiss. Mwah. Thank you for going first. Okay. I see Audrey's hand. Okay, can you unmute yourself?
I can.
Perfect.
Yeah. So my question is about my signature talk, which is the talk that I'm going to speak on a stage or on anywhere that I book talk around, or that I'm going to do in a webinar, or that I'm going to do on a live, so so I understand the grow.
Yeah.
And I would like to know if there is like a sequence of emotions that I need to have to guide my people through, for them to want
to buy what you have. Yes. Great. So there is a signature talk template. Have you seen that?
Yes.
Okay. So based on that, and then part of how we talk about it is, I don't know if you'll go into this topic in ELA or leverage, but I'll just explain this really simply. We talk about spiral marketing. And so it's basically that you go backwards from what you're selling eventually. You go backwards to see, what does someone need to know to realize that they want to buy what I'm selling, right? And so not in a manipulative way, but that they get to see, oh, is this right for me? Is this the next step I want to take? So is that what your question is about? How to set that up?
Yeah, my question is that sometimes I think that to talk about the pain is a little bit, I don't know, obvious, that I'm trying to talk to them about the pain, and so they start to see the pain, but at the same time it feels like too tricky, too gimmicky, you know what I mean?
I think I get what you're getting at, that there's some part of you that thinks pointing to the pain is gimmicky. I disagree, but I've had that mindset in the past and thought, well, is this gimmicky? Really what I think is that you're doing people a service, right? There's a way that we are brave to allow for pain to show up, to actually have conversations where we're inviting pain, because in most places in our culture, people are like, how you doing? I'm fine. Yeah, what's going on? Nothing, right? We don't, it's not a safe space for pain to arise. And so what I could see you doing is really setting a context for that and saying something like, you know, this is a really safe space, and we're not going to avoid what out in the world many people would just gloss over, because what I know is that unless we're willing to touch into this pain, we actually don't access the strength and the courage and the passion and all of those things that we need to create the life we want, or whatever your version of that is, right?
I like that a lot. I didn't think in this way. I didn't. So for me to hear this owning that we're talking about the pain, because the pain through this is that we are going to go to the height.
Right.
I like that a lot. Because for me, the grow conversation is great, like as a conversation, as a template. But when I am actually doing it, to talk about the pain, it feels like a trick to, you know what I mean?
I can see again where you're coming from, that it's like, okay, I was told to focus on the pain, and if I focus on the pain and I go deep enough, then they will, you know,
yes.
into this. But the reality is that, just thinking of how to phrase this, right? It's like, the reality is that there is pain, right? I was just talking to my son, this is really sad, you guys, but one of the, it's on my mind, one of the kids in his preschool, he's now in first grade, passed away from leukemia. And so we're having these conversations about death, and his little heart is breaking. And, you know, if I'm sitting in a talk about parenting and they talk about the pain of how do you talk to your kids about life and death and divorce and all of these things, right? It's like, I'm not sitting there thinking this is gimmicky. I'm sitting there thinking, thank God I have a place to actually talk about this with people, right?
Yes, I can see that.
Yeah, yeah. So
I very much like what you said, that the pain is the way through.
Yeah.
Because, you know, if I feel that then I don't really, it really touched me when I think of that, you know. I really didn't see that.
And for all of you, again, sales, when we have this mindset that sales is gimmicky, or we're trying to get someone to do something, we're forgetting that really what we're doing is an invitation, right? When we make an offer, it's an offer. It's not a push. It's not a force, right? And so you're making an offer, you're making an invitation, and if it's right for someone, then they're going to step in. I mean, we just had 230 women step into ELA, to Leverage, to Lotus. I mean, you women aren't here because of some gimmick. You're here because you have a dream, and because you have a vision, and because you have a pain, right? So when you really remember, I love it, I can't remember who said it, but it's like, you know, selling is not dirty, or sales is not a dirty word, right? It's not, when you're connected with this service that you're bringing to people, there's no gimmick.
Thank you. That changed my point of view about talking about the pain in my signature talk.
Beautiful.
Thank you
for the question.
Yeah.
Okay, Kate Duffy, I saw your hand up.
Hi, Shana.
Hi.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. So I have a 12-week intensive that I've been building toward. And last week at my talk, I enrolled 3 people.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So then there's 3. I'm going to start it in a month.
Great.
I think it's, you know, I was going to start it in a couple weeks, but I can get some time in there.
Great.
And one of the ways I'm going to be, it's all through speaking. It's either Facebook Live or case studies.
Yeah.
So speaking and email. I have a little bit of a following. What I want to do is I run a group monthly, and that's where most of my clients have come. It's in person.
Yeah.
I've been telling everyone for a while that I'm going to start a group monthly through Zoom.
Yep.
I just want to pull it off. I want to just do it.
Great.
I'm looking for the best way to get people there.
Perfect. Happy to answer that. I also just want to see, have you followed up with the people who came to your talk who didn't sign up?
Great question. So I sent an email to those who had registered and put in an offer for a discovery session.
Okay.
I got 0. So I have to learn about what's next.
Yeah.
And
so
then
do another one.
Okay.
And was it 0? Did people open the email? They just didn't click on it?
Yes. So do you go in and you pick the people out and move them to a new group? Do you
Would you like to send them different emails too?
I don't know. Do I?
You could. I would say for now, if nobody clicked on it, but people did open it, let's just look for a minute at what you said. Did you give a clear, like, bullet points of what they were going to get out of that session, and did you name it?
I did name it, and I thought I named it something better. I actually will have to pull it up, but I can do that while we're talking. It's fast. The other thing I just want to add is there were a lot of people that didn't register, probably 25. I have those email addresses. They were handwritten, so we just haven't added them in. Because I went away.
Them too. And you know what I would do is give them a little bit of something, whether it's like, this is a question that people ask that I have an answer to, or this is, something someone mentioned that they were really struggling with, and this is a common struggle, right? So, give a little something so that they can kind of have their mind and their heart opened again.
Okay.
And let them know. I think one of the common things, this is a great thing for all of you. Sometimes we say, if you're interested, click here for a session, right? But a more powerful way to do that would be something like, if you're struggling with X, Y, and Z, or if you can relate to, some of the pain, like we were just talking about, in the first one, right? If you can relate to some of this pain, or if you're really longing for something like, so put in the specifics about why they would contact you instead of just having it be a broad, if you're interested.
Okay. So I have it here, and I had sent a survey. I did kind of a warm intro. I did a 2-minute video to get people warm to come, and I did a survey, and about 20 people did the survey. And I wrote that over a third of you who took the survey said you're at your wit's end. It's really hard to love someone with addiction, and you don't need to be at your wit's end.
Yes.
I have a gift that will help you nurture or the seed that we planted. Please accept this 30-minute free recovery strategy call with me.
Okay, so great, that's beautiful. And the please accept this is kind of like, right? It's more like, oh, I'm asking you to take this versus, when you have a relative or a loved one struggling with addiction and you're at your wit's end, most people don't see a light at the end of the tunnel, right? And most people get farther and farther down the road, and it takes longer, and people get worse, and all these things. I have a way out, or I have a way beyond past that, right? Like, I've healed. You could give some statistics. You've worked.
Can I even say that, 90% of the people that have this call, honestly, huge numbers of people that engage in this work, things turn around.
Yes, great. Say that too. Yep. So can you all feel how much more powerful that is to say that? Then, I hope you accept my invitation, right?
I have a way out.
Yeah.
Here's
your way out. Even sometimes phrasing things like, right, I have a way out is a little more focused on us.
Yeah,
but here's your way out, or your path to freedom, or your path to your loved one actually coming back to you again. That's even more.
I can almost guarantee, I can guarantee 100% that they'll walk away from that call in better shape.
Great.
Okay.
And you said X percent, 90%, over 70%, whatever it is. Their loved ones actually make a huge shift and start to recover.
So a technical question that my VA picked up when she was reading the sales page, should I say 12-week or 3-month program? Does it matter?
It doesn't really matter. I like 12-week. Anyone? Okay, let's raise your hand. Raise your hand if you like 12-week. And raise your hand if you like 3 months. So a little more 12-week, but Either one's okay. 3 months. Yeah.
So cool. Thanks. I love the way you just did that.
Good. And then your other question was how to get people to.
Yeah, the Zoom.
Zoom.
I know I'll get people. I want to do as much as I can to get as many as I can.
Yeah. I mean, do you have a Facebook page or a group?
Yeah, that's a question for another time, or maybe somebody else has it, but I have a personal Facebook page. That's where I get most of the attention.
Yeah.
So I'm fine to still use that.
Yeah. So put it out on there.
Yep.
And then ask people to share it. You know, sometimes if Sage is doing a Women Rocking Business post, she'll text all of us and say, could you please share this, right? So that we could get, you know.
And will I want people to register for it?
For your free Zoom call?
Because these support groups around the state get really well attended. So, you know, I could have 25 or so people.
Yeah, I mean, you want to collect their email. So that would be a registration, right? And so, yeah, just
let us know you're coming, right?
Yeah, right. And so, give us your name and email. We'll send you the Zoom link. Let us know you're coming. Exactly.
Yes.
You could also do some Facebook ads.
Yeah.
You know, start trying that a little bit.
Is there info in here? I've done a little, but
in the library. Yeah, check in the library. There should be a Facebook ads.
Check in the library. I'm just going to go into the library. I love that.
I know. I was looking through the library the other day and I was amazed.
Yeah, I printed out Yeah. Okay.
And if you don't, find it, then tag us on Facebook. And
Sweet.
Great. Thank you. Thank you for your. All right. Okay. Is it Robin Tierney? I see your hand up. I think you have to unmute. I'll unmute. There you go. Oh, I still can't hear you. There we go. You're getting better, louder.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, totally. Hi, Robin.
Okay. I can't really hear you. I had my speaker on, so I'm going to get a webcam soon.
Is anyone else having a hard time hearing me?
Let's see.
Yeah.
Hello?
I can hear you.
Okay. I can barely hear you, but that's okay.
Okay. I'll try and talk.
All right. Thank you for taking my call. I guess I had a question about, so we're being encouraged in ELA to do 12 client interviews, right? And then, but I'm wondering if I can do that in tandem with developing my online program, because I want to create a 6-week kind of online program that will be supportive to about 6 months of coaching. I'm hoping the two can go together, and ideally clients would purchase both at the same time, or they could have the option if they wanted to just purchase the program and then decide on the coaching later. Mm-hmm. So that I'm wrestling with that. I'm brand new to this. This is like, I really just had the inspiration to start this business really just like a month and a half ago. So it's happened really fast.
Well, you'll be guided through ELA, but usually what our suggestion is to sell the longer program and have it the modules and the coaching, because then you're going to be able to serve them more, and you're also going to get more consistent income, right? People are going to pay more.
So sell the longer program?
Yeah, but it would have the coaching in it, right? So whatever you're talking about.
With the coaching in it. Okay.
Yeah. And
that's really helpful.
Right? So kind of you can model it like this program, right? Where there's first week of the month there's content, then there's the Q&A. Third week of the month, are you still there? do we lose her? Oh, there you are.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I have it on my phone. I bought a webcam. It just hasn't arrived yet, so I have to set it up, and that's my issue right now. So I've been using one of these to like hear you, and then just having that up there. So it's really hard to hear you. Like
okay, right. So you're putting it to your ear. So okay.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. So and then what were you saying? Something about doing it in tandem? The interviews, which by the way, for all of you, are really, really, really important. We were talking about this on our coaching meeting the other day. How women try to get out of doing these interviews, all the time. Don't do that. They're really important. So keep going.
They're really important.
They're really important. And what did you want to do in tandem? Were you wanting to ask them questions about what they would want in a program also?
Yeah, I think part of it is I'm a little reluctant to create the program before I've done, at least like maybe 6 interviews, I think, to start off with.
Yeah.
But I was kind of my first client, like I've really done this work on myself. So I have a good idea. the language is something I still want to get down. I want to hear it from other people, not just my own language, right? Because it's good to have that diverse perspective.
Yes, exactly.
But when it comes to the actual work, and I feel like what clients need, I do feel like I have a good idea of that just because I've done that work on myself. So
good. So I would say it is, it is better to do the interviews before you create the program, but since you've also done the work yourself, you can start outlining your program, and then you can move things around and add language and add pieces based on what your interviews give you. Okay.
So definitely getting those client interviews, doing those first, prioritizing them. And it's okay if I wait a couple months to start creating the program, but just like outlining right now.
Right. So for everybody's different. For some women, you need money now, and so you're going to create the program now. For other women, there's more of a, okay, I've got my clients, or I've got this other job or whatever. So it's up to you when you need it. But you could do your client interviews this month or the next couple of weeks, and then start creating your program.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good. Will this be recorded so I can go back and listen to it? I think it'll be available.
It is. I was just looking at the little red dot. It is recording.
Sorry.
I was just looking up to see. It is recording.
Okay, awesome. So I'll just re-listen to this again because it is challenging to hear you. But thank you so much for responding.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Okay, Lauren. Let's see you.
Hi.
Hi. Are you having a hard time hearing me, or is it just Robin's phone?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Totally.
Great. Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
So I'm one of those people that needs money like right now.
Okay.
So I am scheduling my client interviews, and I'm just curious, how many interviews should I really have under my belt before I go ahead and do a signature talk? Because I'm ready to go with signature talks, and I have a place to do it in.
Do it. Go for it. If you're ready to make money now and you want money now, do a signature talk. I mean, you're just going to keep honing it, right? For all of us, no matter what stage we're at, we're just continuing to hone it and change it as we go and deepen it as we go, right? You're always going to be evolving. So if you've got a place and you've got a topic and you're ready to go, I would say do it.
Okay. My only concern is that because I'm still clarifying my niche with these interviews, I'm afraid that I'm not going to use the best language to be able to attract like the number of people that I would want. So like I'm trying to gauge how many interviews I should try to get before I go full force.
Here's one thing I would say. We're never going to get the best language immediately on the first try, but post it on your ELA page, right? So as you're creating the language, post it and see what other women say. Would you come to this if you've struggled with this, right? Is this a language that would inspire you to say yes to this? Think about if I were just happening upon this advertisement or this flyer or whatever, would I look at that and be like, oh my God, I have to go, right? That's, we kind of need to wake people up these days because there's so much information out there. So, and it'll keep, the more information you get from the more interviews you do and the more clients you work with, the more it'll change. But I would say for now, do the interviews and then just keep asking other people, would you come to this? And, do you struggle with this? And would this be something you'd say yes to?
Yeah. Okay, great. Thank you so much.
What's your niche? Yeah, what's your current niche so far?
So I want to work with women on weight loss, and I'm, with my coach session, we were just trying to figure out which population of women, because I saw myself working with women in their 30s, 40s, 50s. Yeah. So my coach suggested moms, which I hadn't really thought of working with moms. So now I'm thinking, all right, I don't know if I want to work with moms with very young kids, because I have this assumption that they're not going to be able to really have a time to take care of themselves, which is a whole other issue, right? Yeah. So now I'm thinking maybe moms who have kids that are school age, so that at least they have a little bit more time for themselves. But I don't want to make any assumptions. So what I'm doing is I'm setting up interviews with moms with different ages of kids, just so I can kind of see if my assumptions are holding true, or maybe there's other things I need to be factoring in. And then I'm going to interview women without kids as well.
Great. Yeah, because it could just be, women in their midlife who have gained weight, or, suddenly their hormones are different, or it could be moms. And I would say if you're going to start doing a signature talk for moms who have had kids and, there's the baby weight, there's the eating the snacks that you prepare for the kids, there's all that stuff. I don't think you have to get entirely specific on what age range. You
Okay.
could give some different examples, right? Of, you know, are you a mom who, right, is eating your kids' snacks? Are you a mom who your teenager's out late at night and you're nervous and you don't know, you know, when they're coming home, so you're sitting around eating pizza? Like, you can give really, you know, examples of different ages. And I think that'll work really well.
And if I didn't go for moms specifically and it was just kind of like midlife women, is that specific enough that, I mean?
Yeah. Midlife women who, you know, there's like that extra 10 to 30 pounds, or, you know, or suddenly, you don't have to give an amount necessarily, but it's like suddenly you're eating the same things and, you know, your belly's getting fuller, or you're trying to date and you're not feeling good about your body, or you're in a relationship and, you know, you're feeling kind of like that slump of midlife, you know. So just, again, I would get specific with what the struggles are that, you know, women are facing.
Okay, great. Awesome, thanks.
You're welcome. Great questions, ladies. This is awesome. And I really just want to keep encouraging you on every call, when you have questions, you know, raise your hand and get them answered. All right, Nancy, I see you.
I feel like I jumped the queue to the top. I was just formulating my question, but
we can come back to you if you want. You had it.
No, I got it. I just wanted to say, I want to reiterate what you said about doing the potential client interviews, because like I kind of sort of skipped that step, and then I mashed the grow into like a potential client. So I'm not really clear. I wanted to serve midlife women who are on the quest to find their soulmate. And I never really did pre-qualifying questionnaires, so I'm finding, you know, a lot of the grows that I did, I'm mastering, but I'm wondering even at this point that this is a burning desire for a lot of women in my age group, right? So I'm kind of like, maybe it's like was put out before, if you got 2 niches, maybe do 2 talks, like in each niche.
So you're talking about like women in later life versus women in their 30s or earlier, mid?
I'm thinking like, you know, I think the women, and I put that out to the group, the women that like are in their 40s and 50s, that I can mentor, because I kind of been there.
You've been there and you know it.
And, you know, pass on a little of that, the wisdom that I learned.
Totally.
As opposed to women in my age group who, we've done that. We have grandchildren. We want to live a juicy life.
Yes.
So I kind of got like these 2 things going on.
You could do either one. I mean, honestly, there are women your age who are there are women of every age looking for love right now.
That's true. That's true.
So I would really look at what are you most passionate about and who do you feel most excited to serve, because either one can be great. We just had Junie Moon. I don't see her here today, but she just did her weekend for women in their 40s and 50s, and she had an amazing weekend supporting women to find love. So yeah, I mean, it's a great niche.
I think, you know, sometimes I think we get into overwhelm a little bit and a little disappointment, and then you're kind of like,
and it's
yes, but I think you just got to keep pushing on.
Yeah, and it's hard, right? It's like, I mean, I know that I'm single mom and I've been dating, and it's, you know, it's like we take a step and something goes well and then it crashes and then we have to, you know, it's like
the same thing.
Yeah, the whole of it. So, you know, giving women hope and helping them trust again and open their hearts again, it's huge.
Yeah. And I'm passionate about that. So that's cool. Yeah, I will do that. And I just have one other quick question. And I do it through the creative process. Like I do an art therapy process. So translating, I mean, that's a great hands-on thing, but it's not like you can do 10 of them in a day, right? So you kind of...
In a group, could you do that? I mean, I would see you could do some of that in a group too, where women can bond and experience it together and share, and that could be amazing.
I think that is the most healing is in a group than individuals. So I think I'll move in that direction. Yeah.
Good.
Okay.
I love it.
Thank you so much. Mwah. Thanks, ladies.
Okay, how about Rebecca? Then we're going to go to Sonia. I want to know how you, I think I just muted you, Rebecca. Oh, no, you're good. Sonia's like space somehow. I can hear you, Rebecca.
Okay.
Hi, welcome, love. Good to see your face.
Thank you. I have a baby strapped to my back right now, so.
Sleeping baby or
hoping he
live
stays
office baby? Sleeping baby?
Back there. So I'm also bouncing a little bit, so we'll try to keep him asleep. So when I spoke to you a couple weeks ago, the niche and the explanation that I had was that I help women monetize their lives by finding the through line to create a lucrative business from a hobby, or for some women that are already participating in MLMs or things like that and aren't getting the success that they want, to take that unflinching look at how to turn what they're doing into an actual lucrative business. And I have since revisited Sage's template.
Yep.
And so I've changed that up a little bit, and I'm wondering if I could get your feedback on that.
Sure, great.
And so now what I say, with your approval, is I support mamas who feel compressed under the weight of what they want for their family to turn their day-to-day minutia into money so they can relax in their natural ability to generate wealth.
Beautiful. Beautiful. It's amazing, right?
Okay. Cool.
I feel I can feel that place as a mom where that really touches me. And the only thing I would say is when you're speaking it out in the world, I would just simplify it, right? Like I help moms turn, overwhelm or stress about money. I help moms start their businesses and, make enough money while also being able to take care of their kids, right? I would just make it more simple when you're talking to people, but for your mission, your essence and all of that, that's beautiful.
Okay. I used to say monetize and women's eyes would glaze over, and I would have their husbands say, can you help my wife? And so I feel like that explains it the most succinctly, but it doesn't seem like it's a feminine enough word.
Yeah, I would just say, I think it's like make more money, right? Make more money or have success in their business so they can, raise their kids and take time off when their kids have talent shows and all of that. It's like in a more casual way that we actually talk about it.
So my business card says, raise your family, raise your income.
I love it.
Okay.
Yeah, we got some good thumbs up. Raise your family, raise your income is hot.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Could I ask one more question quick?
Yes.
I have some talk titles, and I'm just wondering if I could get your input on this.
Yes, great.
The first one is create a living from your life, 3 steps to turn your minutia into money.
Mm-hmm.
The second one is boundaries to build, 3 keys for moms to generate success on their own terms.
I like that. I like the 3 keys for moms to generate success on their own terms.
Okay, cool.
And it could even be and make more money.
And the third one is speed up by slowing down, 3 steps to get beyond overwhelm and into impact. Something like that.
Yeah, I like the second parts. If we're keeping it shorter, the second part of your titles are just more, specific. And so post them on the Facebook page too, so we can really look at them. But they're hot.
Okay. Thank you.
Great.
Awesome. Thanks.
All right. Yeah, thank you.
And the baby's.
Oh, the baby's still sleeping?
Yeah.
Okay, Sonia. How do you look like you're in space?
I am. Deep space.
Deep space, I love it. All right, what's your question, love?
All right, so I birthed the system of transformation and healing tools a couple years ago and passionately marketed it and got 6 clients.
Great.
Kind of focusing on self-healing and just healing old wounds and things. And so I've been promising them a second part to the course, and I have been unpacking it myself because it was so new. I hadn't really tested it out.
Yeah.
And so I overwhelmed them completely on the first round. It was short, 3 months, and I've been promising them the next round. And I realized that, you know, after joining ELA, that I've just done everything half-assed and backwards. And
yeah, I would put that in different language, right? You know, you're,
okay.
you're growing and you're building and you're learning as you go, but yes, okay.
But anyway, I've done the formula backwards. So, you know, I've built the website. I've built an online teaching platform that I don't know how to even.
Yeah. Okay. So how can I support you?
Okay. So my number one question is, how do I approach the clients at this point who are wanting a program, and I've half built it, but I'm kind of like feeling like I haven't even, I had a practice in the 70s and I haven't really had clients for a long time.
Mm-hmm. So how do you approach new clients when you haven't finished creating the program?
Right.
Okay, this is an awesome question for all of you, because you don't actually have to have your program created. I mean, what you do need is an outline and a sense of what you're going to cover, right? But I just launched a new program for men. I work with men, for those of you who don't know, in my other life. And I created the outline. And so when I was doing my discovery calls, I could say, this is what's in the program and this is how it ties into what you're looking for. Here's the outline. And then each month as we went along, I was creating the next module, right? And filling it in and actually recording it and doing the content pieces. So all you need to know is enough of what you're covering, and then you can have that conversation with them.
Okay, I do have that. I do have a picture in my mind.
Great.
Okay.
You're good.
Avoiding the call.
Okay, now, right. So, and then what has you avoid the call? Just because you weren't sure?
I wasn't sure how to approach it because I was promising them a whole like group package. And now I'm thinking I need to do an individual mentoring package instead. And, but, you know, to really actually serve them better, I think I should mentor them.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's your call. You can mentor them one-on-one. You can mentor in groups. You can do a combination. But I would say get on the calls, make a commitment, right? I'd love to see you make a commitment to how many people you're going to call in the next week.
Okay.
And just get doing it.
Yeah, I've got my list. I just got to do it.
Great. Okay. So how many are you going to call this week?
I'm going to call, let's see, where's my list? I think there's 6 on my list. Because I've been marketing and giving a free gift away, and I have people getting samples of the work.
Yeah.
And the people who go like 60 to 100% into the program that I do give them, I'm going to call those people.
Great. I love it.
All right.
Good. All right. Okay. All right. Hold on. I'm going to look because there's more pages of people. And let's see. Mary. Hi, Mary. Let me unmute you. Okay, I got you unmuted.
Okay, you got me unmuted. Okay. So I'm looking through the questions on the potential client interview.
Yeah.
Looking at the questions at the discovery session. Now, I came in about 20 minutes late.
Okay.
So I don't know if you've answered this already, but what's the difference?
The potential client interview versus a discovery session?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the potential client interview is where you're asking potential clients, people who could be your clients, about what's going on for them. You're gathering information, right? And so you're gathering information that you're going to be able to use as you market your program, as you write your website content, as you make a flyer, as you do your talk, and you're really getting the language of what they say they're struggling with and what they say they want. In the discovery session is more where you're actually contacting and having a conversation with them to see if they're going to sign up for what you have.
Okay, so the only difference is the signing up part?
I mean, you could do potential client interviews, and at the end you could say, wow, what I do is actually really perfect for you. And you could go into that part of the conversation. But I would say the difference is the context of gathering information so that you can, you know, be able to use your client's language versus you're having a conversation to see, is what I do a fit for you?
Okay, because on the G and the R of the GROW, I'm just gathering a bunch of
I
information.
see, right. So in your discovery session, you are gathering information.
Tons of it, yeah.
But the
I
context
have a problem getting into the O and the W.
Yeah.
It's like I get all this great information, but then I was like, I got to present
That's
something.
the practice, right? For most of us, like, oh, okay, we can gather the information. Then we have to shift into, all right, so here's why this program would be a great fit for you, or here's what I have to offer.
Right. On the potential client interview, they only have 5 questions.
Yeah.
And on the discovery session, I must have like 25 questions because I added a whole bunch more.
Yeah, you can ask some of those questions in the potential client interview too. That's fine.
And it just seemed to me like I should just use the discovery session template.
Sure. I mean,
Yeah.
you can do that, you know, if there's more, if you get more depth, you can ask those questions too.
Can I ask you about a niche thing?
Go for it.
Okay, so my talk was walking on sunshine for slightly grumpy people to get a little bit happier. Formerly a clown. So when I went to do the discovery sessions, and people were saying what they were unhappy about, bottom line was they were always unhappy about something they couldn't obtain. And I said, well, why aren't you doing it, or why aren't you getting it? And it came down to money. So I'm switching it to guiding, I guess mostly as spiritual healers. It seems like they want to do their healing, but don't have the ability to quit their full-time job and do the healing full-time because they don't know how to get the clients. So I've been toying with
guiding healers to get more clients. You're
set up programs, because a one-shot deal with Reiki might not do it. They might need 10 depending on their problems, or a combination.
That's a hot niche, is to help healers grow their business and get more clients.
There's a lot in this area.
Yeah.
I think there's more healers than there are people here.
Great. So you can help them. You can even bring them together in a group for healers building their businesses.
Well, that's what I was thinking I might go towards, because the happiness thing is always leading towards the money thing.
Yeah, and also I could see it's like, to get a little bit happier, people, I don't know if people would pay to get a little bit happier, right? They would pay for like some, oh my gosh, I can be really happy finally. But I could see that could have been an issue in there too.
It wasn't just money, but it was what they could get with the money. And a lot of them, being like middle-aged and older, wanted to be with their kids. And they didn't have the money to get there. Because their kids don't live around them anymore. Everybody's moved away. And that was like a big one.
Yeah.
I mean, one had kids in England, and another one halfway across.
So it sounds like you're questioning shifting your niche.
I'm thinking of shifting, and can I just read what I kind of have? I know it's not perfect, but it says I teach, and I don't know if teach is a good word, I teach spiritual healers how to build their business to achieve financial freedom so that they can comfortably support themselves.
Woohoo! I love it.
I mean, I have more I could add, but then
don't add more.
No, don't add more?
That's the thing for all of us, is to keep it simple, right?
Okay.
That's hot. You got it.
Okay. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
What's your name? I came on late.
Shayna. I'm Shayna. Shayna James.
Thank you.
One of the leverage coaches, for those of you who jumped on late.
Okay, because I thought Megan was going to be on.
Right, and that, as I said too, when we started, Megan woke up with laryngitis, so for today.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's amazing, right? It's amazing that we have a team where we could all text each other and say, okay, one woman down, who's going to take over? Okay, I see you, Ada, waving your hand. Hi, Ada. I'll unmute you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Great, because I was thinking that because my name was on top of stage, the coaches would always not see my name.
Oh, so, yeah. All right, tell me your question, love. Welcome.
Thank you. I had my first live event. I wasn't giving a talk. It was class fair.
Congratulations.
I met a whole bunch of expatriate women.
Great.
And I got 3 really good recommendations. One of them is to the American School in Lugano.
Great.
And with somebody who is and who used to be a retired administrator of the school. So she was.
So give me a little context of what's the question so that I can understand all the information that you're giving.
Okay. my niche is expatriate women.
Yeah.
In Switzerland.
Yeah.
And I went to this event yesterday.
Okay.
And I've done a couple of potential client interviews, but not more than that.
Yeah.
And so the prospect of talking to the American School and Mothers Group in Switzerland is a little bit overwhelming. But at the same time, I mean, I really would like to work towards it. So what do you suggest?
Well, part of what I suggest is knowing that, when we're taking a step toward what we want, which I heard you say, it can be overwhelming and scary. And, my suggestion would be to use your sisters and get on the phone with someone or get on Zoom and, just talk it through a little bit and vent a little bit and let them know what you're scared of and then let them know what you're committed to. And then keep taking those small actions, right? Like, okay, what is success for today? If I call one person or if I have one conversation with the head of a school or one, right? What are the small steps I can take so that I can continue to feel successful?
Thank you. So I can see the value of doing 10 to 15 potential client interviews in the next 10 days. For sure, doable, and I'll get real solid information.
And those are great because you're not putting yourself out there to sell something, you're putting yourself out there to gather information. So for me, at least, that can be easier.
And so if I delay this American School contact for another 10 days, that will not be end of the world, right?
What was the context that you were talking to them in, that you were going to go do a talk or something there?
Not yet. I just got a recommendation. And so I need to take the next step to contact them to see.
I see. Okay, so someone suggested that you contact them?
I have not yet.
Yeah, but someone suggested. They said, oh, we recommend that you contact them.
No, they are going to do the contacting for me.
Okay. Is it you, Audrey? You're raising your hand? Are you the one who's doing it? No, you have a thought. Okay. Yeah, I would say, you could delay it a little bit, but I don't know. I would say I would go for it. I would have them, bring it into the mix, right? The sooner, this is the thing that I found over the past, I've been coaching women with Women Rocking Business for 5 or 6 years now. I've lost track. And I would say the thing that I see women put off the most is actually reaching out and creating those contacts. And, it can take a while. So I would say the sooner the better, reach out. And work that into your days, and because right, you that person will probably connect you, and then you'll set up a meeting, and it'll be a week from now or 10 days from now anyway. So I would say get it set up.
And so, can I do I just did a 90-second video. Is that a useful tool as an introduction of what I do? And
sure. I mean, I haven't seen yours yet, but yes, that can often be a really great tool of. Here's a 1.5 minutes, or here's a 2-minute video, 1-minute video of what I do. Yeah, that's great.
And I was really when you were advising my other sisters to go out and do the programs anyway, and the outline, I can just have a soft outline and then go as use it as I go.
Exactly.
Great. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, Bridget. I unmuted you, but I still can't hear you for some reason. Oh, wait, I didn't unmute you.
I think I did. There we go. Hi.
Hi.
Thank you for taking my question. I'm in the ELA program and really early on in developing my niche and everything else, like many women are. And my question is, I come from a traditional business background where typically you look at competition and you try and get a gauge of the lay of the land and who's doing what and how you can fit in and how you can answer a call that hasn't been answered yet.
Yep.
And I noticed that in this forum, there are so many women that have niches that are very similar. Mm-hmm. And I hear the niche that I'm looking at come up over and over again. Mm-hmm. And I understand that your approach is different in terms of there being plenty and not scarcity. But can you speak to that a little bit? Because I know that part of it is my fear in the back of my brain of who am I? What am I thinking? This is a dumb idea. And when you start collecting, evidence of that, it makes it a little bit more, I guess, like nerve-wracking, and makes you a little bit more insecure in what you're doing.
One of the best pieces of business advice I got a long time ago was that if someone else is doing it, that it's actually a good thing, because if nobody else is doing it, then that's probably because people haven't succeeded in doing it. But I'm curious, what is your niche, first of all?
Women in their midlife, women in their middle ages, I should say. I'll read my thing that I've been working on. Middle-aged women who feel lost, and empowering them to reconnect, to find their soul purpose so they can live a life of passion and joy.
Beautiful, beautiful. And I'm imagining, you said you were in traditional business. I'm imagining this is personal for you.
Very personal, yeah.
Yeah. So already, I don't even know your story, but I can imagine, and I already feel touched, right, by, wow, you've actually been through this. And if I'm someone who is wanting to walk through this fire of letting go of my steady income and all the ways that I know I'm valued and all of that, and starting something new, right, I want someone who's done that. And I might want someone who's close to me, or I might want someone who looks like me, or I might want someone who's, got a certain kind of fire, right? So we all do have this unique way about us.
Right.
And people are going to choose you for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm excited for you.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Thanks. That's one of the beautiful parts about being part of a tribe. I see you, Kat. You can unmute you. I'll just say this while we're getting ready is, one of the beautiful parts about being part of a tribe is to let ourselves be seen, and to keep remembering who we are through other women's eyes, because through our own eyes, we can often get this fuzzy clouding of, I don't know, I'm not good enough, I'm this, I'm that. And, just remember, I think I said this on the call where the ELA women who were jumping up into leverage, I just said, anytime you hear that voice, my hope is that you remember it's not real, it's not true. Connect with someone else, let them mirror back what they see. Yeah, and let them love you.
Nice. Hi. I made it. Can you hear me well enough? I have new headphones.
Totally.
So my question is, I really want to work with groups, not with individual people.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of what I've been hearing is to get individual clients under, in the beginning.
Yeah. Are you doing ELA?
I'm doing ELA.
Okay.
So, and really at this point, do I need to have individual clients, or
have you been working with people in this realm?
Unofficially, but not for pay.
Yeah. I mean, if you have been working, even if it's unofficially, and you feel like you are clear about what you're doing and you're really excited to get a group going, that's great. We often suggest getting clients one-on-one if you need more of a steady base income, and then build a group as you're ready to take the next leap. But again, everybody's different, and everybody needs different,
Yeah.
This is when I need money, and this is where I need it, and all of that. So
okay. I've got income from another source right now. And so and it's a flexible source.
Yeah.
So I can manage my time to build more of this. I did start a Facebook group. I've got almost 120 women.
Beautiful. Congratulations.
Already. So yeah. And I'm looking to build more online than in person as well. So I'm excited to see how it goes.
Good. I'm excited for you.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Mwah. Oh my gosh, we've been forgetting to give everyone kisses. Let's give lots of kisses for all the women. Okay, Imani. Look at her eyes. She's like, me?
Oh, yeah, because I just raised my hand. So.
Oh, I'm sorry, ladies. If you're raising your hand in an order, I'm not necessarily seeing the order, but maybe that's just my bad because...
Yeah, I mean, if someone's been waiting for a while and they want to go first, that's fine. But thank you.
We're going to get to everyone. We've got another 20 minutes or so. So, yeah.
So my question is, first of all, hey, I'm a marriage coach, and I work with exhausted wives and disconnected couples to get thriving, intimate partnerships where they feel appreciated and heard.
Awesome.
However, I often market to women, right? Because they're usually my first point of contact.
Yeah.
And they bring the men in once we have a session together, and the men get to know me, and they know that I'm not just on the woman's side. Like we're right here. We're cool.
Yeah.
But right now I'm running an ongoing program where it is supporting just wives in their part. But for the program that I'm framing out, has a start point and an ending point.
Yeah.
I'm struggling with whether I should continue to market to women or market that to the couple. And I haven't really done that yet. I've worked with men, but privately.
With the program, you said there's a program that has a start point and an end point, but
right now I have an ongoing poem that I'm already doing, and it's just with women.
Got it.
But I'm framing out through this program one that has a launch program start and end date.
And that's also for couples.
That's where I'm struggling, because I'm used to marketing to, should I make it for couples? Because here's the thing, historically for me, men work with me privately. They don't work with me in groups and for something online and spend that time, doing that. What I was thinking is that I could say, okay, for the things that have a private component, and the men are invited to that part, but then I feel like they'd be missing out on stuff. You know?
And I do lead groups for men. I mean, they tend to have a little resistance at first, and then by the end, they are completely blown away by how they are supported. And we just have to really set the context and really get their world and be like, I know this is a little weird, and I know this is, I know this might not be the norm and whatever, but so I would say, you can continue to market as you have been toward the women.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want you to have to do it's not like two niches, but you could write content for the couple and you could write content for the women and, try it out and see. I think you are right that women are the touch point often in relationship. They're the ones who tend to bring in the men, and they bring in, their partners.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess my concern is that would I have a group of some just wives and then some couples, and then I've had wives be like, I wish my husband was here, but he's not willing to do this, and it gets
well, then you get to talk them through. How do you have the conversation with your partner, with your husband?
Oh yeah. Okay.
And that's a hot conversation, because whatever's keeping their partner from saying yes is probably what else is keeping them from
the marriage. Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, Jill Stein, I see you, and two of you.
Tiffany's here. Hi. We're doing Leverage together, Shayna.
Great.
It's so nice to see you.
So good to see you.
My question is really around timing. Yeah. So our funnels that we have coming up with our launch is we're going to have lots of speaking engagements, and then that's going to funnel into a live event that we're going to have.
Great.
And then that's how we're going to fill our year-long program.
I love it.
So my question is, timing-wise, we're together here to do our whole plan kind of when everything's going to happen.
Yeah.
So my main questions are like, how long should we give ourselves between now and our live event to fill it?
Yep.
And how many speaking engagements should our goal be to hit filling our room so we can fill our program?
Awesome.
Shortest amount possible.
What was that one?
We were going to do it in July, but we're starting to feel like, holy crap, that's too soon.
Maybe. Okay, so we're in May. I have to keep remembering we're like almost mid-May right now, which is I don't know where all the months went. But okay, so if we were to work backwards, say from, let's just do September, but then we can always switch, right? So if it was September, you'd have June, July, August, 3.5 months. I would say anywhere from 3 to 4 months.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Great amount of time. I mean, you could do longer, right? You could.
No, 3 to 4 months is good. We don't want longer.
Not longer. Okay, so 3 to 4 months is great, and then you work backwards from there, right? And so if your event's going to be in September, then you want to have a couple of talks in June, July, and August, right? So, and then for numbers for all of you, it's like, all right, imagine if you want, how many people do you want at your live event? Your
100.
That's what I was thinking. Okay, so if you want 100 people there, then you're going to want to get in front of somewhere between 200 and 400 people.
Okay.
Right now, some of that could be friends and friends of friends, and you've got, you know, some of you might have come through a friend contest or friends asking you. So it doesn't have to only be through your talks, right? But you want to get in front of more people because not everybody's going to then come into your event, right? So you could create a couple larger talks. You could create more smaller talks. Just think about that number for how many people you want to get in front of.
Okay. And just really quick, so then also we want to leverage our Facebook community because there's 7,500 of them. So we were thinking also to add the funnel of Facebook challenge that would somehow get them into the group program because they're kind of from all over. What's a launch challenge?
A launch challenge?
On Sage's example funnels, it said Facebook challenge to launch challenge to group program. And I don't know what a launch challenge is.
I wonder if she meant Facebook challenge to launch to group program. I don't know. Launch challenge is a little funny language for me. Basically, I would think Facebook challenge.
Tell us what you recommend.
A Facebook challenge. I'll check it out with her.
So right now in our 7,500 people, we don't have engagement.
Yeah. Okay. So start there. So especially now, like let's say in May, you're going to start engaging them and posting a couple times a week and asking them questions and giving them some really, you know, great tips or memes or whatever. And then you can start, you could do a Facebook challenge in June, right? Where you're figuring out what it is they want, what the first point of contact is, and then guiding them to your event to get a ticket to your event.
Okay.
That would be awesome.
So do you feel like we need to put the event into that particular funnel? Because a lot of them aren't local, and we would love to have some people from all over end up in our year-long program.
Yeah, I would. I think that's great. It doesn't, if they're not local, but you're giving them a couple months to be able to plan for it. That's awesome.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Woo,
Thank you.
Tell me your business again that you two are doing together.
So we're just getting out of our niche soup, but our goal is to help women that are just finding themselves empty nesters so that they can make the decision on what they're going to do now because the time is theirs and they have the time, and we're going to help them find their focus so they can be successful and make a shitload of money.
Awesome. And make a shitload of money. I like it. I would move that closer to the beginning. I mean, not necessarily, like, I think there's that, okay, what is my purpose and what am I going to do now? But it sounds like you're excited when you say a shitload of money. I feel the excitement.
We're working on our statements, but we're almost there.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks,
Thank
Lee.
you, Sana.
Thank you.
Okay, Kia.
Hey.
Hi, darling.
So my question actually falls along a very similar thread as their question.
Great.
But if I'm looking at a launch, I remember, I believe it was Sage, it was either Sage or Megan, who was talking about when you do an event and you're bringing people into a live event and then as part of your launch into a program, capturing, the people who couldn't make it to the live event, but now they hear that you did a live event and you can kind of plaster that all over the place and do something like a Facebook challenge after the fact. So I'm curious about what that timeline looks like as well. So if I'm launching a program, this is actually looking into the future, but I'm thinking about doing this in the fall. But so say if I'm launching a program in like March, because this was what I did this last year. If I launch a program in March, where's my live event and where is the Facebook challenge post live event? Like how much time do you need?
So just to be clear for all of you, there are many different ways to do this, right? So some people do a Facebook challenge to get people to their live event. Some people do the Facebook challenge after the live event. Some people do both, right? So there's no confusion here. You can do it in a bunch of different ways. But if you're doing a program that starts in March, I would have your live event somewhere, it could be January, it could be December, beginning of December before the holidays. But January, the beginning of January, or like after that first week of January could be an awesome time to do it too, or end of January.
Yeah, I feel like that's probably my ideal for me as, a health coach who's someone who's trying to get people to rediscover health, that the new year is kind of a nice time to do that.
Oh, this is the holidays happened, didn't they? We can
totally. Who here feels like shit? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that was the plan. So if I'm doing that, say the second or third week in January, how much time do you need after that to then sort of try to get to
people to the Facebook
utilize
challenge?
that momentum into the online?
Yeah, I would say a couple weeks. You want to give yourself a little bit of a like, okay, I can decompress for a couple days and then get back on it. And when you're doing a Facebook challenge, we're finding that 3 to 5 days is often the best promotion, or sometimes 3 to 7 days. So it's not like you have a ton of time to get people there, because they don't have to get babysitters or book their reservations or things like that.
Yeah. Awesome. Perfect.
Great. You're welcome. Okay, Madeline, I've seen your hand up. Thank you for being patient. Okay, I unmuted you.
Oh, good.
Maybe a codependent act that I'm unmuting people, but sometimes it just seems easier.
Oh, it's nice. I appreciate it.
Good.
Well, I kind of have done things backwards too, because I published this book.
Congratulations, our Ancient Mother's Alphabet. Beautiful.
And I have also a website, grandmothershealingwisdom.com.
Oh, thank you.
And I have put on in my little 90-second, actually it ended up being 43-second talk, which I put up about what I think is my niche.
Right. Okay, just for timing's sake, let's just get to the heart of the matter.
Okay. I offer guidance to women who want to experience and connect with the divine feminine presence that is always within and around us. I work with women in times of transition and support them as they make new choices to change, heal, or create relationships and navigate the river of their lives. And I got like 1 or 2 likes from the group, and I feel a bit at a loss and a bit like I'm throwing. I've created an exercise program of movement that sort of pulls on Pilates and yoga and dance.
Okay, so is the question around clarifying your statement of what you do?
Everything, yeah. And it all ties together with the what my husband says is my book is like a Jewish I Ching.
Nice. That's beautiful. As a woman raised in the Jewish faith, I love it, and who's more identified as a spiritual person. But so I would say, just realize that you don't have to get this all figured out in this moment, right? This is it'll take shape.
I have one little problem with the Jewish thing, and that is that it's only appeals to very open, non-patriarchal.
Yes, you don't have to market it that way. At some point, that might be part of it. But it sounds like what you're doing is you're working with women who are in transition, and there's some kind of struggle in that transition. There's some kind of pain in that transition, and they're trying to find their way through, and that you're a guide for that.
Yeah, and also I have this. It's basically also connected very deeply to spiritual, to a relationship that is to the
divine, to spirit,
the divine feminine, because it's a whole different way of connecting spiritually to the presence that is both within and around us, rather than looking at a hierarchy.
Yeah. Okay, so if you had a question for me to answer in this moment, right, what would it be?
My question is, I don't really know how to hone in enough and ask. I don't know what questions I would ask 12 people.
Okay, so use the interview questions.
Yeah.
Right? A sheet that has questions on there. And then another woman, I can't remember who you were, but you so gracefully said, right, a lot of the questions that you would ask in the GROW conversation, in the G and the R, you can use those questions as well. So find women who identify as somewhat spiritual, right? Or, and that's what I would say, spiritual women, that's who you're working with, and ask them the questions and see what they're struggling with and what they want help with.
And
take it from there, and let yourself go step by step, okay? Instead of thinking like, gotta do it all now.
And where would I be likely to find them? Because what I do, I just want to put, one of the things is, like, I take a reading from my book and from this other system, and I put them online every day.
Yeah. And do you have people following you?
I have a number of people that follow me, and I have a number, not a lot though. It's like one.
So I would reach out to those people and say, I'm really wanting to hear from and talk to women who, you know, who are spiritual, and ask you more about your life and your struggle as I'm, you know, putting my book out there. Wherever you know of women friends, I would say, yeah, I mean, you know, use the people around you and ask people who they know who would identify as who you work with as well.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing awesome. This is beautiful. And I can feel the deep wisdom inside of you. And right, it takes a little bit of swirling sometimes to get into the heart of it, to figure out how to speak it in the world.
Well, it's hard to figure out how to make money on it in the world.
Yes.
I can speak it, but it's...
Yeah, and you'll see, I mean, as you're guided through the program, you know, it may be that you have to get a little more concrete about the specific thing you help women struggle with, whether it's, you know, somehow, this just came to me, but it's just a brainstorm of like women after, you know, the death of a loved one, or women who are transitioning out of work and retiring, or young women who are just starting the journey of mothering, right? Like it may just have to get more specific for you.
Yeah, because the feeling, I mean, what I've gotten is, oh, I was in your class and it altered my whole life, or I heard you talk and it did this for me. And
good. Well, so just for timing's sake, I'm gonna keep answering other questions, but I would say go back to those women and ask the specifics, right? If it's like, oh, you changed my life, how did I change your life? What actually happened in your life? And really get the specifics there.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you.
And keep going. All of you, I know it's like, there's so many things and so many things to do, and I just want you to keep remembering one step at a time. Okay, let's go with Tracy, and then Yemaya, I've seen you, and Kim. We're going to see how many we can get to in the next 10 or 15 minutes. All right, Tracy, how can I support you?
Yeah, so I just, in summary, I'm working really hard right now on speaking opportunities to get discovery calls. I've been doing that for a couple months, and it's working pretty well, but it always feels very like unreliable. Like, when is the next speaking gig, and how are they going to come? And the ones I've put on myself, I've really had a hard time getting very many people to come.
Yeah.
When I've been able to speak to an existing group, that's worked well.
Yeah.
I'm getting busy enough in my private practice that I have just decided to leave my JOB at the end of June, which is, yeah, it's super exciting. And it's also, you know,
exciting and scary.
So now I'm like, I just must get consistent talking opportunities. And so I have one booked for June 2nd, and I'm trying, I have niche stuff. I'm going to work on that with my coach tomorrow. Okay, great. But I'm trying these autoimmune talks. I do functional medicine, and I'm trying to maybe see how that goes over. Great. So two quick questions. One is, the title. It's the previous title was Autoimmunity, Hidden Causes and Natural Solutions. And I'm trying to now incorporate a number, since that was like, so I was thinking 5 steps to healing autoimmunity and mysterious symptoms, or something like that. Because not everyone knows the diagnosis.
I actually have some, this is so funny. I love when there's like things that I have too, so I can relate to it. So I've got some autoimmune stuff, and that second one definitely would have me more enticed to come.
And should I add them as mysterious symptoms? Because not everyone's, people take like 10 years to get diagnosed. So.
Yes. I like mysterious symptoms, because there are things where we don't know. Is it autoimmune? Is it not? Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And I'm gonna, I've done like Eventbrite and Facebook ads and emailing my small but growing list. But I was gonna add Craigslist, because Safety talks about that. And then, there's gonna be flyers in this yoga studio.
Yeah, great.
She wanted $300 for me to email her list. I mean, for her to email her list. I was sort of like, no. So that was weird to me. She's kind of odd, though.
I mean, it could be worth it. It makes me make that face too. It's kind of weird.
It didn't feel quite right. I mean, I don't know. Maybe if she told me her list was like,
right, maybe you give her some kind of commission on when people sign up, so that, because you've never done it and you don't know if your list is exactly your people.
Exactly. I'm still a little bit figuring it out. But I had this idea that maybe I could do some sort of like Facebook Lives or something to promote it. Social media is like part of why I joined Leverage, like to figure out a strategy. I kind of hate social media. I'm trying to come to terms with it. But would that make sense? Like, what would be a way to, I only have till June 2nd to do this.
So I would say, you can do some social media, but then the other thing is find people who know people, like, chiropractors or acupuncturists, right? Like, start to connect with real people also. because they're going to be the ones who are going to, you know, have that warmer connection with people and be like, oh, I know someone who would really, really need this.
Okay. I had that today. There's like a community acupuncture clinic where I could leave flyers. Yeah. I don't know a lot of the
and check in with them and talk to them and ask them to talk to their people too, right? Like not, instead of just flyers, ask them to, you know, recommend it to someone who they know who's struggling with that.
Okay. And should I bother with this Facebook stuff, or I mean, that was just like an idea that.
Yeah, try. I mean, I think for all of you, it kind of depends, right? How much energy do you have, and how much time, and, you know, all of that. It's like, you know, you don't want to overwhelm yourself, but you also want to keep throwing spaghetti at the walls and seeing what sticks, right?
I was thinking more like just a couple minute things about facts of autoimmunity, why it's important, and I don't know.
Yeah, I love that, right? Giving them some information and then asking them or letting them know you have this talk.
And give them the workshop registration link.
Yes, great.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, more kisses, because I keep forgetting kisses. Okay, we're at 3:30. I can stay on a little bit more, though. My little 7-year-old son might come barging in the door at any moment. But for some of you, I know you've had your hands up. And we're also, you can bring your questions to the Facebook page for sure. But I know Yamaya and Kim Lee, I've seen your hands up. So let's see if we can do these quick before my son interrupts us. And if you do need to jump off, of course you can. And actually, let me do this before we jump off, or before some of you might jump off. I just want to say, next week is your mastermind call. It's on Wednesday at 10 a.m. and that's for all of you as well. And this is a really amazing time to practice. I'm not sure what the topic is for next week, but I know it's on Wednesday where you're all together and you're all getting to, it'll be practicing something around, you know, speaking what you do, or the money concerns, or the grow conversation. It's a really powerful time, so don't miss that call.
Message clarity.
Message clarity. Thank you.
Yes.
Message clarity. Thank you so much. And then Leverage Ladies, you have your Q&A call next week as well on Tuesday. So make sure you have those in your calendar. Make sure you show up. And again, congratulations for all of you. I feel so excited by how many of you are here and the questions you have, and excited for what you're creating. So if your question doesn't get answered today, then make sure you put it on the Facebook page, the ELA or Leverage page, and we'll be sure to get to them in the next 24 hours. Okay, and where did you go? Yamaya, there you are. Okay, you're unmuted, love.
Hi there.
Hi.
Hi. Onboarding plan.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if I'm putting too much on my plate. I'm working really fast right now.
Okay.
I'm looking at doing my first 3-day Facebook challenge, probably in about 3 weeks. I was hoping to launch my 7 months program like in 2 weeks, but now I'm thinking I might want to wait till September, but I also need the money.
Mm-hmm.
I have a 10-day course that I'm going to use the the Facebook challenge to onboard.
Okay. So tell me if there was a specific question, what can we answer today? I just heard my son run in the door.
How can I onboard the group, not the group, the 7 months program, like just like that? I mean, without doing the Facebook challenge.
How can you onboard? Come here, you can come here. Come here. You want to say hi to everybody? Hi, everybody! Do you want to sit here while I finish? Or you want to go in the other room and play? No more computer.
So, you know, that's a big question. Maybe
how can we get the people into the 7 month program?
Yeah, I mean, I realized from one sisters before, I could just call them.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I can just pick up the phone.
You can just call them, right? So yeah, so I would say the people closest to you, you got to go play for a couple more minutes. The people closest to you, you can call them, and right, that's the warmest way that you can reach out to them. So I think that's great. And doing talks, and
that's started, and I have more in June, but there's this May period where I need to pick, I guess, a plan. You know, because it's a long question. Maybe if this could be a short question. My other one is on how narrow should my niche be to be asked.
What's your current niche? I'll come back.
My current niche is young entrepreneurs and leaders that identify themselves as Earth Guardians, but are Earth Guardians, but that have limited, that are limited by the remnants of childhood trauma and childhood adversity.
Okay, that's complex for sure. What is the result that you are offering? Impact.
My program is Earth Guardians Impact Academy.
Okay. So to me, the trauma piece adds a whole nother layer that could confuse people, right? But it's like entrepreneurs who want to have an impact and who care about the earth, right? Or social entrepreneurs.
But my specialty is trauma. That's what that's what I've done for the last 30 years. Not online, so that's the new piece.
Yes. Okay. So my sense is, I mean, if you want to work with entrepreneurs who want to have a bigger impact, but trauma's stopping them, it's a little confusing to add the Earth Guardians and the trauma and the entrepreneurs. Okay. So I would say pick two. And if trauma is your specialty, right, then it's entrepreneurs and people who are, working to have an impact, but they're stopped by their past or their trauma or their history.
Yeah, but the young Earth Guardians are the ones coming to me.
So then it might be the young Earth Guardians who are attempting to heal the world, but they're stuck in their trauma. I mean, this is probably a longer conversation and one for coaching, I would say. But, we're trying not to put too many things in, because then it's like, are you A, B, C, D, then you narrow it down in that way.
Okay.
Yeah, but you're doing great. And when is your program starting? Did you say September?
Well, September, but there's other things that needs to happen. Okay. But I'm talking next week. So.
Okay, good. Yeah, and you've got plenty of time. And so, yeah, let's make a plan for you to get people there.
Okay. Thanks, Shannon.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, Kim. Well, let's do Kim, and then we're going to hop off. And if you have questions, like I said, make sure you post them on the ELA and the Leverage page, and we will get to you ASAP. Hi, darling. How are you?
Hi. Thank you, Shana. I guess for me it's a bit confusing because I have a lot of moving target and it's scary.
Yeah.
Because I do one-on-one all these years, 25, 26 years. I have miniature group.
Yeah.
So what I'm having right now, my question is, help me in terms of what is the best use of my energy? Because I have two group going on.
Yeah.
I'm a relationship coach. So I help both men and women to heal their heart and thrive in their business, their relationship. So those are my focus.
Yeah.
So my program, the group program that I want to put together is a 90 days magical self-transformation. That's what I have. And I also have another thing that it come out, the coaches and the healer attracted to it.
Okay, so you got to choose and focus, because otherwise, if you're trying to launch all of these things at the same time, it's going to get really overwhelming and confusing.
So help me in terms of make choices, because see, I that's where I have problems because.
So basically, I would say for all of you, when you're choosing, you've got to either go based on who's coming to you and what they want and need, or what you are most excited about, right? Because we're not saying you can't do all of these things forever. We're just saying pick and focus so that you can actually launch something well and get it going and have it, get some momentum, and then you can always add something else in.
Okay, perfect. So the one that coming to me are coaches and healers, that they come to heal their money relationship, money shit problems.
Yeah, money ship. Yeah, their relationship with money.
Yeah. So that's what coming in, because the certification, I promised to have that component in it. So I have a handful of sisters want to join me in that program. So I think that's where I've been pulled. So I guess with me is the question, do I need to do the marketing research to find the language to catch them? Because right now I have two students, one that certification, because in it, I help them to heal their heart before I can teach them the modality.
If you're going to switch and do money or have another program around money, I would say definitely do some interviews. But the other option for you is to stick with your relationship niche. If you're doing really well and you're coaching, lots of people individually, you could just form a group based on the same thing that you're already doing there.
Yeah, I guess I want to challenge myself to do the 9-month certification because it's exciting, but it's also scary at the same time.
Good. And if you feel like, right, if you've got a consistent enough base, this is, you know, where we're all in different places. If you've got a consistent enough base of individual clients,
yes,
and you
want
to challenge yourself and do something that sounds fun and interesting and inspiring, then that's great. Go for it.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Yeah. Yes, pretty much the permission to jump in to make a mess out of it.
Yes.
And learn along the way and make a whole bunch of money too.
Yes, beautiful. I love it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Shani.
And right, again, just reminder, right, we're all in different places and there's no need to compare, and you know, everybody's journey is different. I've been doing this for 15 years and there are days still where I'm like, I wish I was farther ahead than where I am, or I wish something was different. And then we have to come back to really looking at, okay, how can I be in service instead of how can I wonder and doubt and judge myself? And right, let's turn our attention outward to the world, to what we can do, and really appreciate everything that you have already done and everything you've created, and remember the people you've served. And remember, you know, when you start to doubt, just think about, look into in your mind's eye, look into the faces of the people who you've served and you've supported. And I just want to keep encouraging you that if you are in one of those moments where you're feeling doubt or feeling down, reach out to a sister. That's why we're here. Okay, and you're all amazing, and I see you and I honor you. And thank you so much for being here with me today. And like I said, if you didn't get your question answered, post on Facebook, and I'll be on the Leverage page, and Shannon and Claire and Serena will be on the ELA page, and we'll get your questions answered.
Where can we find this video and like the ones that we have, these training calls on the
They will be in your class page, I believe. I'll check on this to be sure, but right now I would say they'd be on your class page under, you know, May. This would be one of the calls in May, but I'll check. If that's different, then we'll let you know.
Okay, great, thanks.
Okay, you're welcome. All right, Les, let's unmute and we can give a big.
I'm gonna start and my.
Everybody, I love you.
Thank you, ladies. Okay. If you guys respond to my email and get me the address.